Good day. It's April the 14th. And today we continue in John 18, doing verses 15 through 18, and Proverbs 14. Remember, if you'd like to be tagged when I post these videos, or if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, complaints, or anything else, you can reach me through 810-242-2997. That's 810-242-2997. You can call, text, leave a message, whichever you like. Begin John 18, starting at verse 15. And Simon Peter followed Jesus, and so did another disciple. Now that disciple was known to the high priest, and went with Jesus into the courtyard of the high priest. 16. But Peter stood at the door outside. The other disciple, who was known to the high priest, went out and spoke to her who kept the door, and brought Peter in. 17. Then the servant girl who kept the door said to Peter, You are not also one of these men's disciples, are you? He said, I am not. 18. Now the servants and the officers who had made a fire of coals stood there, for it was cold, and they warmed themselves. And Peter stood with them and warmed himself. Okay, John 18:15. And Simon Peter followed Jesus, and so did another disciple. This other disciple is commonly believed to be John, the writer of this gospel. He does not identify himself by name in any of his writings. Now the disciple that was known to the high priest. Now that disciple was known to the high priest, and went with Jesus into the courtyard of the high priest. Another disciple, John, he was probably known to the high priest, but we're not explaining how they knew each other. It could be either Caiaphas or Ananias. Now, Ananias is spelled a bunch of different ways. Some spelled Annas and Ananias, and there's even different spellings of Ananias. 16. But Peter stood at the door outside. Okay, this is most likely a Roman-style compound with walls around it, and the courtyard behind the walls. Who was known to the high priest, but the other disciple who was known to the high priest went out and spoke to her who kept the door and brought Peter in. And this is probably inside rather than, like I said, inside rather than in front of the building. 17. Then the servant girl who kept the door said to Peter, You are not also one of these men's disciples, are you? He said, I am not. The way the girl asked the question, it was easy to give a denial. And he followed out of curiosity, not love, because if he followed out of love, most likely he would have been brave enough to say yes. He's just saying, what's going to happen? Now the servants and the officers who had made a fire of coals stood there, for it was cold, and they warmed themselves, and Peter stood with them and warmed himself. Peter went from sitting down to standing up, and kind of like, he was nervous. You know how you pace around and do things when you're nervous? That's what Peter was doing. 14. Proverbs 14. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but a foolish plucketh it down with her hand. 2. He that walketh in his uprightness feareth the Lord, but he that is perverse in his ways despises him. 3. In the mouth of a foolish is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise shall preserve them. Fools brag, the wise are humble. 4. Where no oxen are, the crib is clean, but by much increase is by the strength of the ox. Yeah, the ox, or any other things you use to work with, tend to make things dirty. Labor increases your substance, but also increases the dirt. 5. A faithful witness will not lie, but a false witness breatheth forth lies. 6. A scorner seeketh wisdom and findeth not, but knowledge is easy unto him that has discernment. Because the scorner says, oh, that can't be right, that can't be right, I got to go somewhere else, and find it. But those who have discernment, it's right in front of you. I'm sorry, my nose itches. 7. Go from the presence of a foolish man, for thou wilt not perceive the lips of knowledge. How true. 8. The wisdom of the prudent is to look well to his way. The folly of fools is deceit. Wisdom of the prudent, I better get out of the way, because something bad's coming. Fools try to fool themselves. 9. A man's plea is for fools, but among the upright there is goodwill. 10. The heart knoweth its own bitterness, and with its joy no stranger can intermeddle. 11. The house of the wicked shall be overthrown, but the tent of the upright shall flourish. 12. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, the end thereof are the ways of death. The end thereof are the ways of death. Any way without God leads to death, no matter how good it seems. Any way with God is life. 16. Even in laughter the heart acheth. At the end of mirth is heaviness. 14. The dissembler in his heart shall have his fill from his own ways, and a good man shall be satisfied by himself. 15. The thoughtless believe every word, but the prudent look well to his going. The gullible believe, the prudent do some research and find out what's going on. 16. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil, but a fool behaveth overbearingly and is confident. 17. He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated. 18. The thoughtless come into possession of folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. 19. The evil bow before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. 20. The poor is hated even of his neighbor, but the rich have many friends. 21. He that despises his neighbor sinneth, but he that is gracious unto the humble, happy is he. Yeah, you have to love everyone, no matter who they are, but especially your neighbor. 22. Shall they not go astray that devises evil? But mercy and truth shall be for them that devise good. 23. In all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury. Yeah, you want something? Get up and work for it. Don't say, if I only had this, if I only had that, if I only had a brain. 25. 24. The crown of the wise is their riches, and the folly of fools remains folly. 25. A true witness delivers souls, but he that breatheth forth lies is all deceit. 26. In the fear of Yahweh a man has strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge. 29. 7. The fear of Yahweh is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. 28. In the multitude of people is the king's glory, but the want of people is the ruin of prince. Yeah, if they don't like what he's doing, they leave. Those who do like what he's doing, they stay. The more to stay, the better you are. 29. He that is slow to anger is of great understanding, but he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. Yeah, make sure it's worth getting angry at. If you can't rule yourself, someone else will. 30. A tranquil heart is in the life of the flesh, but envy is rottenness to the bones. Of the bones. 31. He that oppresseth the poor blasphemeth his maker. Asa. But he that is gracious unto the needy honoreth him. God made everyone. When you are gracious to those in need, God honors you. 32. The wicked is thrust down in his misfortune, but the righteous, even when he is brought to death, has hope. 33. In the heart of him that has discernment, wisdom resteth, but in the inward part of fools makes itself known. Yeah, fools got a blab. 34. Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. 35. The king's favor is toward his servant that dealeth wisely, but his wrath striketh him that dealeth shamefully. Do your work honestly and good, and then the king won't be mad at you. I hope you've been blessed by this reading. May the Lord richly bless you. Remember, if you'd like to be tagged when I post these videos, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, complaints, or anything else, you may reach me through 810-242-2997. That's 810-242-2997. You can call, text, leave a message, whichever you like. Remember, Jesus loves you, so do I.